Russia is not just a country. It is a continent unto itself. It sprawls across 11 time zones, a vast and unending expanse of land. From the Baltic shores in the west to the Pacific waves in the east, it covers 1/8 of the Earth's inhabited land area. This is a nation defined by its sheer scale, a place where the concept of distance is redefined. To travel across it is to witness a world changing before your very eyes. The landscapes shift dramatically. Dense, ancient forests, the frozen plains of the tundra. It is a land of extremes. Profound cold, surprising warmth, bustling megacities, desolate, untouched wilderness. Imagine a map of the world. As we zoom in, one nation begins to dominate the frame, stretching farther than any other. This is the Russian Federation. Its northern border kisses the frozen Arctic Ocean, a realm of ice and polar nights. Its southern frontiers brush against the deserts of Central Asia, the towering mountains of the Caucasus. This immense geography has shaped not only its history, but the very soul of its people. Surviving the harsh Siberian winters, navigating the crowded streets of Moscow, requires a unique resilience. This documentary will take you on a journey across this colossal stage, exploring the wonders that lie within its borders. The numbers alone are staggering. Russia's landmass is so great that it could contain the entire United States almost twice over. It boasts coastlines on 3 different oceans: the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. Within its borders lies the world's deepest lake, the oldest mountains, some of the largest forests on the planet. This physical immensity is mirrored in its cultural diversity. Over 190 ethnic groups call this land home, each contributing their own languages, traditions, and perspectives to the rich national fabric. Understanding Russia means embracing its grand scale, preparing to be humbled by its boundless horizons and the sheer variety it presents to the curious traveler. Our journey is not merely a trip across a map, it is an exploration of superlatives. We will venture into places where nature's power is on full, breathtaking display. We will stand in the shadows of mountains that touch the European sky and walk on the surface of a lake so deep it holds 1/5 of the world's fresh water. We will travel through endless taiga forests that seem to swallow the horizon. The story of Russia is a story of superlatives, the biggest, the coldest, the deepest, the oldest. It is a narrative written on a canvas so large that it can be difficult to comprehend, but we will explore it piece by piece, wonder by wonder. To understand Russia is to listen to the echoes of its tumultuous past. This is a land forged in the fires of revolution, invasion, empire. Its history is a grand, sweeping drama filled with powerful czars, devout saints, revolutionary commissars. Every city corner, every ancient fortress, every golden dome has a story to tell. These are tales of imperial ambition that built glittering palaces, and of political upheaval that redrew the map of the world. The weight of this history is palpable, felt in the solemn grandeur of Moscow's Red Square, and the elegant canals of Saint Petersburg. It is a legacy of incredible artistic achievement and profound human suffering. The story often begins with the Rus, early Slavic tribes who settled along the great rivers. From these humble origins rose a powerful empire. We see the rise of the czars, autocratic rulers who wielded absolute power, like Ivan the Terrible, Peter the Great. They expanded the empire's borders relentlessly and sought to shape its destiny. Their legacy is cast in stone and gold, visible in the mighty walls of the Kremlin, and the European-inspired architecture of their window to the west. This imperial era was a time of incredible wealth for the few and grinding hardship for the many, a contrast that would eventually lead to a dramatic and violent reckoning for the nation. Then came the 20th century, a period of radical transformation. The fall of the Romanov dynasty gave way to the rise of the Soviet Union. This new chapter in Russian history replaced the cross with the hammer and sickle and the Tsar with the Commissar. For 70 years, the nation was a laboratory for a bold political experiment that reshaped society from top to bottom. It was an era of rapid industrialization, scientific triumphs like the space race, and victory in a devastating world war. But it was also a time of immense repression, of gulags and secret police, a dark period whose scars are still healing today. Now, in the 21st century, Russia continues to navigate its complex identity. The fall of the Soviet Union ushered in a new era, one that grapples with the legacies of both its imperial and Soviet pasts. The Orthodox Church, once suppressed, has seen a powerful resurgence. Capitalism has transformed its cities, creating skylines of glass and steel that stand alongside ancient onion domes. The nation stands at a crossroads, looking back at its incredible history while forging a new path forward. This journey will explore how these historical layers are visible today, from ancient monasteries to monumental Soviet-era statues, all part of Russia's intricate and fascinating story. Our expedition will take you to the very heart of this enigmatic land. We will explore 12 of its most iconic and breathtaking wonders. Each offers a unique window into the Russian soul. This is not just a list of destinations. It is a curated journey revealing incredible diversity. We will move from the centers of political and cultural power to the farthest, wildest frontiers. Join us as we uncover the beauty and complexity of this immense, often misunderstood nation. We begin in the grand cities of Western Russia, epicenters of history and culture. Our first stop, Moscow, the nation's beating heart. Within the ancient walls of the Kremlin and on the cobblestones of Red Square, the story of Russia's power is written. Next, Saint Petersburg, built from a swamp by the will of a visionary czar, a city of palaces, canals, and unparalleled artistic treasures. We will wander the Golden Ring, ancient towns that keep the fairy tale image of old Russia, with tranquil monasteries and iconic churches. From these heartlands, we pivot to monumental nature. Lake Baikal awaits in the heart of Siberia, the sacred sea, the deepest, oldest lake on Earth. Then we ascend Mount Elbrus, the tallest peak in Europe, a giant of rock and ice that has challenged climbers for generations. Finally, we push east into the vast lands of Siberia and the Far East. We ride the legendary Trans-Siberian Railway, a steel ribbon crossing a continent. Our adventure reaches the remote Kamchatka Peninsula, a volcanic land of fire and ice at the edge of the world. This journey is a quest for understanding, an invitation to look beyond headlines, to see timeless beauty, profound history, and breathtaking extremes. The journey begins now. Our journey begins here, in the sprawling, beating heart of the Russian nation, Moscow. This is a city that never sleeps, a megalopolis of some 13 million souls, where the rush of the 21st century collides with 1,000 years of history. Moscow is more than just a capital. It is an idea, power, resilience, ambition. For centuries, it has been called the Third Rome, the heir to the spiritual legacy of Byzantium, a role it has embraced with solemn pride. Its skyline is a testament to this grand narrative. This city is the engine of modern Russia, a place of immense wealth, political gravity, and relentless energy. To walk the streets of Moscow is to feel the pulse of the country itself. The city's grand avenues like Tverskaya Street thrum with life. Luxury boutiques, historic theaters, bustling cafes. Yet just a few steps away, you can find quiet courtyards and serene parks that offer a peaceful respite from the urban clamor. The Moscow metro system is a wonder in itself, not merely a mode of transport, but an underground palace for the people. Its stations are adorned with marble, mosaics, and chandeliers, each one a subterranean work of art, telling a story of Soviet achievement and utopian dreams. The city's story is one of survival and rebirth. It has been burned to the ground by invaders, Mongols, Napoleon's Grand Army, only to rise from the ashes stronger and more defiant each time. This history of endurance is etched into its very fabric. You can feel it in the formidable thickness of its monastery walls and see it in the monumental scale of its Soviet-era architecture. Moscow doesn't just display its history, it wears it like a suit of armor. It is a city that has always been the center of the Russian world, drawing people, power, and wealth to its core like a powerful magnet, shaping the destiny of a nation that stretches across a continent. Our exploration of Moscow will take us to its most iconic sites, places where the fate of Russia has been decided time and again. This is a city built on a monumental scale, designed to inspire awe and project an image of unshakable strength. It is the perfect starting point for our journey, as every road in Russia, both literally and metaphorically, seems to lead back to this vast, complex, and endlessly fascinating metropolis. The story of Russia begins here, amidst the echoes of czars and commissars in the city that sees itself as the heart of it all. Section 2. Red Square. A stage for history. At the very center of Moscow, and indeed all of Russia, lies a vast, windswept plaza of stone. This is Red Square. Its name, in Old Russian, meant beautiful, a fitting description for a place of such stark, dramatic grandeur. It is not just a square, it is an open-air stage upon which the grand theater of Russian history has unfolded. For centuries, this has been the site of solemn religious processions, triumphant military parades, and fiery revolutionary speeches. To stand on these cobblestones is to stand at a historical crossroads, surrounded by some of the most recognizable symbols of Russia's past and present. The air here feels heavy with the weight of momentous events, a place where the collective memory of a nation resides. On one side of the square stands a building that seems to have sprung from a fairy tale. St. Basil's Cathedral, with its swirling colors and whimsical collection of onion domes, is an architectural masterpiece. Commissioned by Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century to commemorate a military victory, its design is unlike anything else in the world. Legend has it that the Tsar was so overwhelmed by its beauty that he had the architects blinded so they could never create anything to rival it. Whether true or not, the story captures the cathedral's unique and breathtaking impact. It is not just a church, it is a symbol of Russian identity, a joyful and defiant expression of faith and artistry. Across the square, a different kind of monument commands attention. The Lenin Mausoleum, a somber pyramid of red and black granite, holds the embalmed body of the leader of the Bolshevik Revolution, Vladimir Lenin. For decades, long lines of pilgrims and curious visitors have filed through this silent tomb to gaze upon the face of the man who reshaped Russia and the world. Its presence on the square is a stark reminder of the country's Soviet chapter, a 70-year period that profoundly transformed its society. The mausoleum stands in fascinating contrast to the ancient cathedral opposite, representing the clash of ideologies, faith and atheism, Tsar and Commissar, that have battled for the soul of Russia on this very ground. Completing the ensemble are the Grand State Historical Museum, a neo-Russian palace of deep red brick, and the Gum department store, an elegant 19th century arcade of glass and steel. This juxtaposition of commerce, history, faith, and political ideology makes Red Square a microcosm of Russia itself. It is a place where every building tells a story, and every stone has witnessed history. From the proclamations of czars to the thunderous parades of Soviet tanks, this square has been the backdrop for Russia's triumphs and tragedies. It remains the nation's primary public space, the symbolic heart from which all distances in Russia are measured. Section 3, the Kremlin, Citadel of Power. Looming over Red Square, enclosed by imposing red brick walls, is the Moscow Kremlin. The word Kremlin simply means fortress, but this is no ordinary citadel. This is the ultimate symbol of Russian power, a city within a city that has served as the seat of authority for nearly 1,000 years. Within these walls, czars were crowned patriarchs of the Orthodox Church, held council, and Soviet leaders plotted the course of the Cold War. Today, it remains the official residence of the President of the Russian Federation, a living, breathing center of political power. To pass through its gates is to enter the nerve center of the nation, a place where secrecy and history are guarded by ancient towers. The Kremlin's massive walls, more than 2 kilometers long and up to 19 meters high, are punctuated by 20 towers, each with its own name and story. The most famous of these is the Spasskaya, or Savior Tower, whose clock chimes have marked the time for Muscovites for centuries. Inside, the grounds are a stunning collection of palaces, armories, and cathedrals. The contrast between the fortress's intimidating exterior and the sacred beauty within is striking. Here you will find Cathedral Square, a breathtaking plaza surrounded by 3 magnificent cathedrals whose golden domes glitter in the sun. This was the spiritual heart of Tsarist Russia, the site of coronations, royal weddings, and funerals for the nation's rulers. Among the Kremlin's many treasures are the Armory Chamber and the Diamond Fund. The armory is not just a collection of weapons, but a royal treasury, housing an incredible display of state regalia, coronation dresses, gilded carriages, and Fabergé eggs. These objects offer a glimpse into the immense wealth and opulent lifestyle of the Russian czars. Nearby, the Diamond Fund showcases a dazzling collection of crown jewels and precious gems, including the 189-carat Orlov diamond, a stone with a long and storied history. These collections are a powerful statement of imperial might, a legacy of an empire that once stretched across 3 continents and accumulated unimaginable riches. But the Kremlin is also a place of modern power. The Grand Kremlin Palace, once a royal residence, is now used for state receptions, while the yellow, triangular Senate building houses the presidential administration. This blend of historical museum and active government complex makes the Kremlin unique. It is a place where tourists can wander past ancient cannons and cathedrals, while just meters away, the decisions that shape modern Russia are being made. The Kremlin is the ultimate heart of power, a fortress that has protected, projected, and symbolized Russian authority through centuries of turmoil and transformation, standing as a formidable testament to the nation's enduring strength. Section 4. Saint Petersburg, a window to the west. We now travel northwest to a city born from one man's iron will and visionary ambition, Saint Petersburg. Unlike Moscow with its ancient organic roots, St. Petersburg was a planned city conjured from a desolate swamp by Peter the Great in 1703. Peter desired a window to the west, a new capital that would turn Russia towards Europe and embrace the modern age. He hired the finest architects from Italy and France to build a city of neoclassical palaces, grand avenues, intricate canals. The result is a place of breathtaking elegance and harmony, a city that feels more European than Russian. The city is built on a network of rivers and canals, earning it the nickname Venice of the North. A boat trip along the Neva River and its tributaries is the best way to appreciate its stunning architecture. From the water, you can gaze upon an endless procession of pastel-colored palaces, ornate bridges, graceful embankments. During the summer months, St. Petersburg experiences the White Nights, a period when the sun barely dips below the horizon, bathing the city in a magical, ethereal twilight. The sight of the city's drawbridges rising in the middle of the night against a luminous sky to let ships pass is one of Russia's most iconic and romantic experiences. At the heart of St. Petersburg's cultural life is the State Hermitage Museum. Housed primarily in the magnificent Winter Palace, the former residence of the Tsars, the Hermitage is one of the largest and oldest museums in the world. Its collection, started by Catherine the Great, comprises over 3 million items, from prehistoric artifacts to masterpieces by Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, and Picasso. To wander through its gilded halls is to take a journey through the history of world art. The building itself is as much a treasure as the art it contains, with its opulent interiors and grand staircases, and stunning views of the Neva River, offering a vivid glimpse into the lavish world of the Russian imperial court. Saint Petersburg is a city steeped in a history that is both glorious and tragic. It was the stage for the Decembrist Revolt, the cradle of the 1917 Revolution, and the site of a brutal 900-day siege during World War II. This dramatic past has left an indelible mark on its soul. Yet through it all, the city has retained its unique character as Russia's cultural capital. It is a city of poets, artists, and musicians, home to the world-renowned Mariinsky Ballet and countless theaters and galleries. St. Petersburg is a testament to the power of a dream, a perfectly preserved imperial jewel that continues to enchant all who walk its elegant streets. Leaving the grand imperial cities behind, we venture into the countryside northeast of Moscow to explore the Golden Ring. This is not a single place, but a collection of ancient towns that form a loop, preserving a vision of Russia from before Peter the Great's reforms. This is old Russia, a fairy tale land of tranquil monasteries, picturesque villages, onion-domed churches reflected in sleepy rivers. A journey through the Golden Ring is a journey back in time to the spiritual and cultural heartland of the nation. Here, the frantic pace of modern life fades away, replaced by the peal of church bells, the quiet serenity of the Russian countryside. Each town in the Golden Ring has its own unique charm and historical significance. We visit Suzdal, often called an open-air museum. Here, strict building codes have preserved its historic appearance. More than 200 architectural monuments, monasteries, convents, dozens of churches, all contained within a town of just 10,000 people. Its Kremlin, or fortress, is the oldest in the region, its earthen walls dating back to the 10th century. Wandering through Suzdal's meadows dotted with white-walled churches, wooden peasant huts, feels like stepping into a classic Russian landscape painting. Another jewel of the Golden Ring is Sergiev Posad, the spiritual center of the Russian Orthodox Church. The town is dominated by the Trinity Lavra of St. Sergius, a magnificent monastery founded in the 14th century. It attracts pilgrims from all over the country. Within its fortified walls is a stunning ensemble of churches built over centuries, including the Trinity Cathedral, which houses the tomb of St. Sergius. The atmosphere is one of deep devotion. Bearded priests in black robes walk the grounds, the air fills with the sound of liturgical chanting. The Golden Ring offers a profound contrast to the imperial and Soviet grandeur of Moscow and St. Petersburg. These towns tell a different story. Vladimir Yaroslavl, Rostov Veliki. It is a narrative of early princes, devout saints, skilled artisans. Their white stone churches and formidable monasteries stood as beacons of civilization in dense forests. Exploring the Golden Ring is essential for understanding the deep roots of Russian identity. It is a peaceful and reflective end to our tour of Western Russia's centers of power and heritage. Well, that wraps this part of our journey. Our journey now takes a dramatic turn eastward, deep into the heart of Siberia. Here, nestled in a vast rift valley, lies a natural wonder of staggering proportions, Lake Baikal. Known to Russians as the Sacred Sea, it is a place of superlatives that challenge the imagination. By volume, it is the largest freshwater lake on Earth, containing an astonishing 20% of the world's unfrozen surface fresh water. That is more water than all of the North American Great Lakes combined. Its age is equally impressive. At an estimated 25 to 30 million years old, it is the most ancient lake on the planet. Its waters are legendary for their clarity, allowing visibility down to depths of 40 meters. The scale of Lake Baikal is difficult to comprehend until you are standing on its shore. It stretches for over 600 kilometers, a vast inland sea cradled by forest-covered mountains and rugged cliffs. This immense body of water is so large that it has its own weather systems, with sudden violent storms that can whip its placid surface into a frenzy of towering waves. For centuries, the indigenous Buryat people, who are related to the Mongols, have regarded the lake as a living, spiritual entity, a place of immense power and sanctity. What makes Baikal truly unique is its remarkable ecosystem, a Galapagos of Russia. Due to its extreme age and isolation, the lake is home to over 2,500 species of plants and animals, the majority of which are endemic. The most famous resident is the Baikal seal, or Nerpa, one of the world's only exclusively freshwater seals. Exploring Baikal connects you to the raw, primordial power of nature. In summer, its shores are a paradise for hikers and nature lovers. Trails wind through taiga forest with breathtaking views of sapphire blue water. The lake is more than just a geographical feature. It is a vital part of the planet's life support system and a treasure of biodiversity. To gaze into its ancient, clear depths is to feel a sense of awe and humility in the face of nature's grand design. As impressive as Lake Baikal is in summer, it undergoes a breathtaking transformation in winter, revealing an entirely different and arguably more magical character. From January to May, the sacred sea freezes over completely, its surface turning into a vast expanse of solid ice that can be more than a meter thick. This is not the opaque white ice you might imagine. Because of the water's incredible purity, the ice is astonishingly transparent, creating a mesmerizing effect. It's like standing on a sheet of flawless glass, peering down into the dark depths below. The ice becomes a natural work of art. As it freezes, expands, and contracts, immense pressure builds. Giant cracks stretch for kilometers across the lake. The ice cracking, a deep, resonant boom that echoes like a cannon shot. Wind and pressure push slabs of ice into huge turquoise hummocks, jagged sculptures glittering in low sun. Millions of frozen methane bubbles dot the surface, trapped in a scent from the lake bed, forming otherworldly patterns. The frozen world opens up a new realm of exploration. The ice becomes a highway, strong enough for cars. Trucks even drive across in winter. Driving across the vast, white expanse is surreal, a minimalist landscape of ice and sky. Profound silence and stark beauty, cold air crisp, light crystalline. Visitors can skate for miles, ride on hovercrafts gliding over the surface, or simply walk out onto the ice to marvel at its clarity and formations. The shores transform too. Waves that hit the cliffs freeze in place. Waves that hit the caves freeze in place. Spectacular ice grottos form, dangling icicles of fantastic shapes. These sokui turn coastal caves into glittering ice palaces. Inside, walls and ceilings draped in frozen draperies. Exploring these caves is like stepping into another dimension. Winter on Lake Baikal is a season of unique, powerful beauty, when the soul of the ancient lake reveals itself in its pure crystalline form. Well, it's truly something to behold. Section 3. The Mother River. Life on the Volga. From the frozen heart of Siberia, we return to the historic core of European Russia to trace the path of another great body of water, the Volga River. If Baikal is Russia's sacred sea, the Volga is its mother. It is the longest river in Europe, winding nearly 3,700 kilometers from the hills northwest of Moscow to the Caspian Sea. For centuries, it has been the country's main artery. Trade, transportation, culture. The popular saying, Volga Matushka, Mother Volga, shows the deep affection people feel. The river's journey is a cross-section of Russia. Its shores are dotted with ancient and important cities, Yaroslavl, Kazan, Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad. The river has witnessed history, Mongol invasions, the Battle of Stalingrad, a turning point in World War II. Life on the Volga has a rhythm all its own. For generations, it's been a working river, fishing boats, Cargo barges, passenger ferries, the burlaki, barge haulers, manually dragged vessels upstream before steam, immortalized in Ilya Repin's painting, a symbol of hardship and the indomitable Russian spirit. Today, the river is best experienced on a multi-day cruise. These voyages offer a relaxed and immersive way to see the country, gliding past golden-domed monasteries, sleepy villages, and vast reservoirs created by Soviet-era dams. A Volga cruise reveals provincial Russia, far from Moscow and Saint Petersburg. You see endless birch forests, lush meadows, quiet fishing spots where locals spend their summer days. The ships stop at historic cities and small towns, allowing travelers to explore ancient Kremlins, visit local markets, and experience the warm hospitality of the Russian heartland. The Volga is more than a river. It's a flowing chronicle of the Russian people, a source of sustenance, inspiration, national pride that connects the country's past, present, and future in its gentle, inexorable journey to the sea. Section 4. A Russian Riviera, Sochi, and the Black Sea. Our journey now takes us to the southernmost edge of Russia, to a place that shatters the common stereotype of a perpetually cold and snowy country. Welcome to Sochi, the jewel of the Russian Riviera. Nestled between the warm azure waters of the Black Sea and the foothills of the Caucasus Mountains, Sochi enjoys a humid subtropical climate, a world away from the Siberian winter. The city is a vibrant summer playground, a sun-drenched resort, palm trees, pebble beaches, bustling seaside promenades. For over a century, this has been Russia's premier vacation destination, a place where generations of citizens have come to relax, socialize, and soak up the southern sun. Sochi was propelled onto the world stage when it hosted the 2014 Winter Olympics, an event that transformed the city and its surroundings. The coastal cluster, built along the waterfront, is a modern complex of stadiums, parks, hotels, including the impressive Fishti Olympic Stadium. In a unique twist, the Winter Games also had a mountain component just 40 kilometers away in the Krasnaya Poliana resort area. This massive infrastructure project connected the coast and mountains, creating a year-round destination. In summer, the beaches are crowded with sunbathers, while in winter, the same visitors can be skiing on world-class slopes, a rare combination that few resorts in the world can offer. Beyond the Olympic parks and beaches, the region around Sochi offers a wealth of natural beauty. The Caucasus Biosphere Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, lies just inland, protecting a vast wilderness of ancient forests and rugged mountains. Here you can hike to stunning waterfalls, explore deep canyons carved by rushing rivers, and visit the mysterious dolmens, ancient stone tombs that are thousands of years old. The area is also famous for its tea plantations, the northernmost in the world, and for Agora Valley, home to a beautiful series of waterfalls and a statue of Prometheus, the Greek god who, according to local legend, was chained to these very mountains. The atmosphere in Sochi is distinctly relaxed and cosmopolitan. It has the feel of a Mediterranean resort, with outdoor cafes, lively nightlife, and a diverse population of tourists from across Russia and beyond. It was also a favorite retreat for Soviet leaders, including Joseph Stalin, whose dacha, or summer house, is now a museum, offering a strange and somber glimpse into the private life of the dictator. Sochi represents another one of Russia's many faces, a land of surprising warmth, seaside leisure, and modern ambition, proving that this vast country is far more diverse than one could ever imagine, offering everything from frozen lakes to subtropical shores. Section 5. The Roof of Europe. Ascending Mount Elbrus. From the warm shores of the Black Sea, towering heights of the Caucasus Mountains. Here stands our next wonder, Mount Elbrus. With its two dormant volcanic cones, this colossal ice-capped peak is the highest mountain in Europe, soaring to an elevation of 5,642 meters, or 18,510 feet. It is one of the 7 summits, the highest points on each continent, making it a coveted prize for mountaineers from around the globe. Its majestic, twin-domed profile dominates the skyline, a formidable giant of rock and ice standing as a silent guardian on the border between Europe and Asia. The ascent of Elbrus is a serious undertaking, a journey into a high-altitude world of thin air, unpredictable weather, breathtaking beauty. While not considered as technically difficult as some other major peaks, its extreme altitude and volatile conditions demand respect and proper preparation. Climbers typically begin their journey from the valleys below, gradually acclimatizing as they make their way up to a series of high-altitude huts, often old Soviet-era structures that look like futuristic space pods perched on the mountainside. From here, the final summit push begins in the dead of night, a slow and arduous trek under a canopy of stars. The reward for those who persevere is one of the most sublime views on the planet. To stand on the summit of Elbrus at sunrise is an unforgettable experience. As the first rays of light hit the peak, the world below is revealed in all its glory. On a clear day, you can see a panoramic vista that stretches for hundreds of kilometers, an endless sea of jagged peaks, deep valleys that make up the greater Caucasus Range. The feeling is one of profound achievement and utter insignificance, a humbling moment of connection with the raw power and immense scale of the natural world. You are, quite literally, standing on the roof of Europe. But one does not need to be an elite mountaineer to experience the grandeur of Elbrus. The lower slopes are accessible via a system of cable cars, chairlifts that carry visitors up, to an elevation of around 3,800 meters. From this vantage point, you can already enjoy spectacular views and get a sense of the alpine environment. The trekking in the summer, trails that lead through pine forests, alpine meadows carpeted with wildflowers. Mount Elbrus is a symbol of nature's vertical dimension, a powerful contrast to the horizontal vastness of the plains and rivers, and a fitting pinnacle for our exploration of Russia's European landscapes. Section 1. The Steel Ribbon. Our journey now takes us to one of the greatest travel adventures on Earth. This is the Trans-Siberian Railway. Stretching for an astonishing 9,289 kilometers, 5,672 miles, the longest railway line in the world. It begins in Moscow, crosses the Ural Mountains, the symbolic divide between Europe and Asia. It plunges into the immense wilderness of Siberia and finally reaches Vladivostok 7 days later. To embark is to commit to the passage of time as much as the crossing of distance. Built under Tsar Alexander III in the late 19th century to connect Siberia and the Far East with European Russia's industrial heartland. Tens of thousands of laborers, soldiers, and convicts labored for over a decade. They laid tracks across frozen permafrost, built bridges over powerful rivers, and blasted tunnels through solid rock. The result, a continuous steel ribbon that stitched a nation together, changing its economy and geopolitics forever. Boarding at Moscow's Yaroslavsky station feels like the start of an expedition. The platform buzzes with energy, excitement, quiet anticipation. Families say their goodbyes, soldiers haul their gear, travelers from around the world prepare. The train becomes your world, a moving microcosm of Russia. First-class compartments with private amenities, third-class Platzkart carriages, communal and sociable. The gentle, constant rhythm of the wheels on the track defines the experience. That rhythmic rocking is your soundtrack, day and night. The Trans-Siberian is not about speed, it is about immersion. It forces you to slow down, disconnect from modern life's frantic pace, and surrender to the vastness outside. As the train pulls away, Moscow's sprawl gives way to forests and fields. A sense of adventure takes hold. You are not just a passenger, you are an explorer following a historic route into a massive continent. Ahead, profound scale, changing landscapes, brief encounters in remote towns, and long hours watching endless trees and boundless skies scroll by. Section 2. A world outside the window. For days on end, the view from your window on the Trans-Siberian is dominated by one single immense and overwhelming feature: the forest. This is the Siberian taiga, the largest forest on Earth. It is a colossal biome of coniferous trees, mostly pine, spruce, fir, larch, that blankets a vast portion of northern Asia. This boreal forest is so enormous that it covers more land than the Amazon rainforest, stretching from the Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean. It is a silent, sprawling, and seemingly infinite wilderness. As the train cuts through its heart, you begin to grasp the sheer, untamed scale of Siberia, a land that appears to be more trees than anything else. The taiga is not a monotonous green wall. It is a landscape of subtle and constant change. The forest floor is a mosaic of mosses, ferns, bogs. Countless rivers and streams, their waters often dark with tannins from the soil, carve paths through the trees. The dominant species of tree shifts as you travel east, with the hardy Siberian larch becoming more prevalent in the colder, permafrost regions. In autumn, these larch trees turn a brilliant gold, creating a stunning, fiery contrast against the dark green of the pines. In winter, the entire landscape is transformed into a fairy tale world of white, with every branch and needle coated in a thick layer of pristine snow, a scene of profound and silent beauty. This immense forest is far from empty. The taiga is a vital habitat for a host of wildlife, though spotting animals from the moving train requires a keen eye and a bit of luck. Brown bears, wolves, elk, reindeer. The most elusive and iconic resident is the Siberian tiger, the largest cat in the world, which roams the forests of the Far East near the end of the railway line. The taiga is also one of the world's most important lungs, a massive carbon sink that absorbs vast quantities of carbon dioxide and produces the oxygen we breathe. Its health and preservation are critical not just for Russia, but for the entire planet. Watching this endless forest scroll past for hours and days is a meditative experience. The sheer repetition of the landscape can have a hypnotic effect, allowing the mind to wander. A lone wooden dacha with smoke curling from its chimney, a flash of silver. From a hidden lake, the distinct shape of birch trees standing out against the dark pines. The taiga teaches you a lesson in scale and patience. It reorients your perspective, making human concerns seem small and fleeting against the backdrop of this ancient and immense wilderness. It is the dominant character in the story of Siberia, a vast and silent sea of trees. Section 3. Life on the Rails. A journey on the Trans-Siberian is as much about the inner world of the train as it is about the landscape outside. For 7 days, the carriage becomes your home, your restaurant, and your community. Each carriage is managed by a pair of attendants known as the provodnitsa or provodnik. These attendants are the masters of their domain, responsible for keeping the carriage clean, checking tickets, and providing fresh linens. They also maintain the samovar, a large metal urn that provides a constant supply of boiling water. This samovar is the heart of carriage life, the source for endless cups of tea, instant coffee, and bowls of noodles. Life on board quickly settles into a comfortable and predictable routine. The days are measured not by clocks, but by meals, station stops, and the changing light outside. You wake to the gentle rocking of the train, make your way to the samovar for morning tea, and settle in by the window to watch Siberia awaken. Meals are simple affairs. Many Russians bring their own generous supplies of food, sausages, bread, boiled eggs, and pickles, which they are often happy to share. The dining car offers a more formal experience, serving classic Russian dishes like borscht, pelmeni, providing a welcome change of scenery and a chance to meet fellow travelers. The social dynamics of the train are a key part of the experience, especially in the open-plan Platzkart carriages. Here, with no doors to separate compartments, a communal atmosphere flourishes. Strangers become temporary neighbors, sharing stories, playing cards, and passing around food and drink. Language barriers often crumble in the face of shared gestures and a common desire for connection. You might find yourself in a conversation with a soldier heading to a new posting, a student returning home for the holidays, or a grandmother visiting her grandchildren in a distant city. These brief but genuine interactions offer a unique and unfiltered glimpse into the lives of ordinary Russian people. The regular station stops provide a welcome break from the confines of the train. These stops can range from a brief 2 minutes to a longer halt of half an hour or more. As soon as the train stops, the platform springs to life. Passengers rush out to stretch their legs, breathe the fresh air, and buy supplies from the babushkas or elderly women who sell local, homemade delicacies. You might find freshly smoked fish, pies filled with cabbage or potato, and jars of wild berries. These short interludes are a vital part of the rhythm of the journey, a chance to set foot on Siberian soil and get a fleeting taste of the towns that dot the Iron Road. While the journey is dominated by the vastness of nature, the Trans-Siberian train cutting across endless taiga, the route is punctuated by cities that rise like oases from the wilderness. These cities are the administrative, industrial, cultural hearts of Siberia, each with its own unique character and history. They are vital hubs that owe their growth, and in some cases, their very existence, to the railway that connects them. The train stops at these cities for extended periods, allowing passengers a brief but fascinating window into urban life deep within the Asian continent. The first major stop after crossing the Urals is Yekaterinburg, a city forever linked with a pivotal moment in Russian history. Yekaterinburg is a bustling industrial and scientific center, but it is most famous as the place where the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II, and his family were executed by Bolsheviks in 1918. This tragic event ended more than 300 years of Romanov rule. Today, the city is home to the stunning Church on Blood, a grand cathedral built on the site of the family's execution. Dusk-lit exterior reflecting on wet pavement. Inside, pilgrims light candles. It stands as a powerful monument of remembrance and a symbol of the Russian Orthodox Church's resurgence. The city marks a clear entry point into Siberia, where the weight of 20th century history meets a modern, dynamic metropolis. Further east, the train pulls into Novosibirsk, Siberia's largest city and Russia's third-largest city overall. Founded in 1893 to facilitate a railway bridge over the mighty Ob River, Novosibirsk is a testament to the transformative power of the Trans-Siberian. It is a city of science and intellect, home to Akademgorodok, or Academic Town, a purpose-built center for scientific research. The city feels young and energetic, with wide, straight avenues and monumental Soviet architecture, including the largest opera and ballet theater in the entire country. Another significant stop on the line is Irkutsk, often called the Paris of Siberia. This historic city, which grew rich from the fur and gold trades, has a beautifully preserved city center filled with elegant 19th century buildings and traditional wooden houses with intricately carved window frames. Irkutsk serves as the primary gateway to the magnificent Lake Baikal, which lies just a short drive away. For many travelers, Irkutsk is a major highlight, a place to pause the train journey for a few days to explore the shores of the sacred sea. These cities are not just dots on a map. They are the vibrant, beating hearts of Siberia, centers of life and culture in a land of immense emptiness. As the train continues its relentless journey eastward, the landscape begins to change once more. The dense taiga gradually gives way to rolling hills and more open terrain. The sense of being in a truly remote part of the world intensifies. After 7 days and over 9,000 kilometers, the hypnotic rhythm of the rails finally slows, and the train pulls into its final destination, Vladivostok. The name itself translates to ruler of the East, a clear statement of Russia's ambition on its Pacific frontier. Arriving here feels like a monumental achievement, the triumphant conclusion of a journey that has crossed an entire continent and spanned 8 different time zones from Moscow. Vladivostok is a city with a dramatic setting and a unique character. It is a bustling port, home to the Russian Pacific Fleet. Its identity is shaped by proximity to the sea and to Asia. The city is spread across steep hills around the Golden Horn Bay. The atmosphere here is different from European Russia. Gritty, energetic, windswept. It feels like Russia's final outpost, gazing out across the waves toward Japan, Korea, China. Golden Horn Bay, panoramic view with the Zolotoy Bridge. Two modern cable-stayed bridges now dominate the skyline. They connect the mainland with Russky Island. Standing at the terminus station, a stone marker shows the distance from Moscow, 9,088 km. A simple monument that represents a profound concept. The number itself is almost too large to be meaningful. The true measure of the journey lies not in the kilometers, but in the experiences along the way. Endless forests of the taiga, cups of tea shared with strangers, brief glimpses of life in Siberian towns, the sheer humbling vastness of the land outside your window. The railway has carried you through a mental and emotional landscape. The Trans-Siberian is a journey into the very soul of Russia. It alters your perception of distance, time, and scale. It reveals the immense geographical reality that shaped the nation and its people. Russia becomes a world of its own, held together by this thin, vital ribbon of steel. Completing the trip from Moscow to Vladivostok gives a visceral understanding of that immensity, a lesson learned only by slowly, patiently crossing these long, long rails. Our journey now takes us to the absolute edge of the Russian world, to a place of raw, primordial power. We fly far east from the mainland, across the Sea of Okhotsk, to the Kamchatka Peninsula. This is one of the most remote and untamed wildernesses on planet Earth. A 250-kilometer finger of land dangling into the Pacific Ocean, Kamchatka is a realm of dramatic superlatives. Part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a volatile, geologically active zone. Russia's land of fire, Russia's land of ice. Snow-capped volcanoes pierce the sky, vast glaciers, boiling hot springs. A land still being born, shaped by immense forces deep within the Earth's crust. For most of the Soviet era, Kamchatka was a strictly controlled military zone, closed to foreigners and most Soviet citizens. That isolation had an unintended consequence. It preserved Kamchatka's pristine nature. Today it remains one of the wildest places in the Northern Hemisphere, with very few roads and people outnumbered by brown bears. Exploring Kamchatka is not casual. It requires helicopters, rugged all-terrain vehicles, and a spirit of true adventure. The reward is a prehistoric world, a landscape untouched by the modern age. Over 300 volcanoes call the peninsula home, about 30 still active. Conical giants dominate the land, their symmetrical slopes forming a dramatic skyline. Kluchevskaya Sopka, the highest active volcano in Eurasia, regularly puts on a fiery display, sending plumes of ash and smoke high into the sky. Mutnovsky lets you walk into its crater, trekking across glaciers, past hissing fumaroles releasing sulfurous gases and bubbling mud pots. Feel the planet's pulse, a raw, powerful beat beneath your feet. Volcanic activity creates stark contrasts. Lunar-like highlands, lush green valleys, fields of wildflowers, crystal clear rivers teeming with salmon. The Pacific coast is rugged and dramatic. Black sand beaches, sheer cliffs, abundant marine life, sea lions, otters. Kamchatka is the ultimate wild frontier, an expedition to the end of the world, a land where fire and ice perform an eternal dance. Deep within the Kronotsky Nature Reserve, in a remote canyon hidden among Kamchatka's volcanic peaks, lies one of the peninsula's most precious and spectacular treasures, the Valley of Geysers. It is one of the largest concentrations of geysers in the world, a 6-kilometer-long basin where the earth seems to breathe, hiss, and roar. Discovered only in 1941, this valley is a truly phenomenal sight, a chaotic and colorful landscape of steaming vents, gurgling mud pools, and powerful jets of boiling water erupting high into the air. Access to this fragile environment is strictly limited and possible only by helicopter, a measure necessary to preserve its unique and delicate ecosystem from human impact. Flying into the valley is an experience in itself. As the helicopter descends into the canyon, the scene that unfolds below is otherworldly. The air becomes thick with steam, and the vibrant colors of the landscape are startling. The ground is painted in shades of red, orange, yellow, and green, the result of heat-loving algae and mineral deposits. It feels like landing on another planet, or perhaps stepping back in time to witness the Earth in its turbulent youth. The sounds are just as overwhelming as the sights, a constant symphony of hissing steam, bubbling mud, and the thunderous roar of geysers erupting with primal force, a powerful reminder of the immense energy churning just below the surface. The valley is home to over 90 geysers and countless hot springs. Each geyser has its own name and a distinct personality. Some, like the Velikan or Giant, erupt dramatically, shooting a column of superheated water more than 30 meters into the sky. Others are more subtle, bubbling and splashing in a predictable rhythm. Wooden boardwalks allow small, guided groups to navigate this geothermal wonderland safely, winding their way past pulsating springs and vents that release clouds of sulfurous steam. To walk here is to feel the immense heat radiating from the ground and to witness a raw geological process that is constantly reshaping the landscape before your very eyes. The Valley of Geysers is more than just a geological marvel. It is a complete and self-contained ecosystem. The warm ground allows plants to flourish even when surrounding areas are covered in snow, and the mineral-rich waters support unique life forms. The area is also a magnet for wildlife, particularly the massive Kamchatka brown bears. In the spring, they are often seen grazing on the lush grasses that grow on the heated soil, seemingly unbothered by the steaming vents and erupting geysers. This extraordinary place is a window into the planet's inner workings, a primordial sanctuary where the raw, creative, and destructive power of nature is on full, breathtaking display. Leaving the wild frontiers of the Far East, our journey takes us back toward the heart of Russia, to a city that embodies the nation's rich cultural diversity. We arrive in Kazan, the capital of the Republic of Tatarstan. Situated on the banks of the mighty Volga River, Kazan is a city where Europe and Asia meet not as a border, but as a vibrant fusion. It is the center of Tatar culture, a Turkic people who have lived in this region for over 1,000 years, and who represent Russia's largest ethnic minority. Kazan proudly proclaims itself the third capital of Russia, and it is a city that beautifully demonstrates a peaceful coexistence of cultures, languages, and religions, a true melting pot within the Russian Federation. The atmosphere in Kazan is unique. Street signs and public announcements are in both Russian and Tatar, a constant reminder of the city's dual heritage. Mosques with soaring minarets stand peacefully alongside Orthodox cathedrals with their golden onion domes. The city is a vibrant blend of Slavic and Turkic influences, visible in its architecture, its cuisine, and the faces of its people. You can savor traditional Tatar dishes like chak-chak, a sweet pastry, or eshpachmak, a triangular meat pie in modern cafes that sit alongside Russian restaurants. This harmonious blend creates a rich and welcoming environment, showcasing a side of Russia that is far from the monolithic image often portrayed. Kazan celebrated its millennium in 2005, making it older than Moscow. Its long and complex history began with the Volga Bulgars, was shaped by the Mongol Golden Horde, and culminated in its dramatic conquest by Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century. This event was a pivotal moment in the formation of the multicultural Russian state. Instead of being erased, the Tatar culture endured and eventually flourished, becoming an integral part of the city's identity. Today, Kazan is a modern, prosperous, and dynamic city, a major center for sport, education, and technology, yet it remains deeply connected to its rich historical and cultural roots. The heart of modern Kazan is Bauman Street, a lively pedestrianized avenue that serves as the city's main social artery. It is a bustling promenade lined with shops, fountains, statues, and cafes where locals and tourists alike come to stroll and socialize. Here you can feel the energetic pulse of the city, a place that is proud of its unique identity and optimistic about its future. Kazan is a compelling example of Russia's internal diversity, a city that does not stand on a continental divide, but instead creates a bridge. It is a place where the minaret's call to prayer and the peal of church bells are not sounds of conflict, but the harmonious soundtrack of a truly multicultural city. At the heart of Kazan, standing majestically on a hill overlooking the confluence of the Volga and the Kazanka rivers, is the city's most important landmark, the Kazan Kremlin. This historic fortress is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a breathtaking symbol of the city's cultural fusion. It is the only surviving Tatar fortress in Russia and a place of immense historical significance. Within its white stone walls, a stunning architectural ensemble tells the story of centuries of interaction between Tatar and Slavic cultures. It is a place where symbols of Islam and Orthodox Christianity stand side by side in a display of mutual respect and shared history. Dominating the Kremlin skyline is the magnificent Kyol Sharif Mosque. Originally built in the 16th century, reputed to be the largest mosque in Europe before it was destroyed by Ivan the Terrible's forces. Rebuilt and reopened in 2005 for the city's millennium celebrations, the modern Kyol Sharif is a masterpiece of Islamic architecture with a massive central dome and 4 towering minarets. It serves as a place of worship, but also as a cultural center and museum of Islam. Its brilliant turquoise domes and elegant design have made it a powerful symbol of the Tatar people's cultural and spiritual revival. Just a short walk from the mosque stands the Annunciation Cathedral, the oldest stone building in the Kremlin. Built in the 16th century by the same architects who designed St. Basil's Cathedral, it was erected to symbolize the arrival of Orthodox Christianity. With its classic Pskovian architecture and 5 blue and gold onion domes, it is a beautiful example of traditional Russian church design. The proximity of these two structures, the Grand Mosque and the ancient cathedral, within the same fortress walls is a unique visual representation of peaceful coexistence. The Kremlin is also home to other fascinating structures, including the mysterious Soyambika Tower. This leaning watchtower, named after a 16th century Tatar queen, is the subject of numerous romantic and tragic legends. The entire complex is a living museum, a place where history is not just preserved, but is actively part of the city's contemporary life, serving as the official residence of the president of Tatarstan. The Kazan Kremlin is more than just a fortress. It is a microcosm of Russia's complex identity, a citadel where different cultures and faiths have learned to share a common space and build a common future. Section 5. Vladivostok, Russia's Pacific Bastion. Our journey through Russia's wild frontiers concludes where the Trans-Siberian Railway ends in the city of Vladivostok. The name, meaning ruler of the East, leaves no doubt about the city's strategic importance. Founded in 1860 as a military outpost, Vladivostok is Russia's largest port on the Pacific Ocean and the home base of its powerful Pacific Fleet. This is Russia's eastern bastion, a city built to project power and secure the nation's vast Pacific coastline. Its identity is inextricably linked to the sea, to the military, and to its unique geographical position, closer to Seoul, Tokyo, and Beijing than it is to Moscow. This proximity to Asia gives the city a distinct cosmopolitan flavor, unlike anywhere else in Russia. The city's topography is dramatic and unforgettable. It is built on a series of steep hills that wrap around the Golden Horn Bay, a long and narrow inlet that provides a perfect natural harbor. This hilly terrain has earned Vladivostok comparisons to San Francisco, and navigating its winding up and down streets is a workout in itself. The best way to appreciate the city's stunning layout is from one of its many viewpoints, or, sopkas. From these high perches, you can gaze out over a panoramic scene of busy port activity, naval ships anchored in the bay, and the sprawling cityscape climbing the surrounding hills, all set against the vast backdrop of the Pacific. For much of the Soviet period, Vladivostok was a closed city, off-limits to foreigners and most Soviet citizens due to its sensitive military status. This isolation ended in 1992, and the city has since been rapidly transforming. A major catalyst for this change was the 2012 APEC summit, which brought massive investment and the construction of two spectacular cable-stayed bridges. The Zolotoy Bridge, soaring over the Golden Horn Bay, and the Russky Bridge, connecting the mainland to the vast Russky Island, have become iconic symbols of the new, modern Vladivostok. They are feats of engineering that have not only improved infrastructure, but have also given the city a bold and futuristic skyline. Today, Vladivostok is an energetic and dynamic city with a gritty maritime charm. It feels like a true frontier town, a place where European Russia meets the cultures of East Asia. You can explore historic submarine museums on the waterfront, sample fresh, locally caught king crab, and feel the salty wind coming off the Sea of Japan. The city has a burgeoning arts scene and a youthful energy, driven by its large university population. Vladivostok is a fitting end to our exploration of the Far East, a city that embodies Russia's eastward gaze and its enduring ambition. It is a gateway, a fortress, and a declaration of presence on the shores of the world's largest ocean. A land of extremes and timeless beauty. A final reflection: Red Square, Kamchatka volcano, Lake Baikal ice, Trans-Siberian train, the Hermitage, Mount Elbrus. Our journey across the vast expanse of the Russian Federation is now drawing to a close. We have traveled from the imperial grandeur of Saint Petersburg to the volcanic frontiers of Kamchatka, from the sun-drenched shores of the Black Sea to the frozen heart of Siberia. We have stood in the shadow of ancient Kremlins, glided along the Mother Volga, and listened to the deep, resonant boom of Lake Baikal's winter ice. This expedition has been a passage through a land of profound contrasts and breathtaking extremes. It is a nation where the delicate artistry of a Fabergé egg exists alongside the raw, untamed power of a Siberian wilderness, a place where futuristic skyscrapers rise next to thousand-year-old monasteries. Russia defies easy categorization. It is too vast, too complex, and too diverse to be captured in a single image or a simple headline. It is at once European and Asian, ancient and modern, deeply spiritual and starkly secular. You learn that the stereotype of a monolithic, gray country is a fiction. In its place, you discover a world painted in a rich and varied palette. The brilliant gold of autumn larch trees, the impossible turquoise of frozen hummocks, the vibrant colors of St. Basil's domes, and the deep sapphire blue of Baikal's sacred waters. This is a land of timeless beauty, where nature operates on a scale that humbles the human spirit. The endless Siberian taiga, the towering peaks of the Caucasus, and the sheer immensity of its plains and rivers create a sense of profound awe. These landscapes are not just backdrops. They are active characters in the Russian story, shaping the nation's history, its economy, and the very soul of its people. The resilience required to survive a Siberian winter, or the patience needed to cross its vast distances, has forged a unique national character. The beauty here is often stark and demanding, but it is also deeply rewarding, offering moments of sublime tranquility and breathtaking spectacle. Ultimately, Russia is a narrative written on the grandest of scales. It is a story of empires rising and falling, of radical ideas that reshape the world, and of an enduring spirit that has weathered every storm. From the echoes of czars and commissars in Moscow's Red Square to the primordial breath of the Valley of Geysers, Russia presents a journey that is as much intellectual and emotional as it is physical. It challenges your perspective, expands your sense of what is possible, and leaves an indelible mark on your memory. It is a land of extremes, yes, but it is also a land of profound and timeless beauty that continues to captivate and mystify all who venture within its borders.